Dane Channel out of Tucson, Arizona, is our demonstrator for tonight, and Dane is going to, I don't have any idea what Dane's going to do. What are you going to do,
I'm here.
Dane?
I'm here. Spotlight.
There
Can
you
y'all see
go.
me? See
We
part of
got
me?
you now, buddy.
Right on.
Yes,
So-
sir.
So during the demo, can I get somebody to take down names if anybody submits for gallery show and tell for later? At the moment, there's nobody signed up, so it's a fresh list if anybody
Okay.
comes in during the demo.
Okay, co-host digitally, jump on the board.
I can.
Okay, thanks, Brenda.
All right.
And
All
Brenda
right,
will
cool.
Brenda will introduce
Broke
you
my
for
left hand.
gallery.
Right. I can
Brenda
still
will
do
say,
That'll work. All right, well, guess without further ado, let's get started. So I posted some teasers. So what I'm going to attempt to do tonight is to make a 8-winged Chosin style bow. Some people will call them manta rays. Some people will cut in the wings and then cut wings off to where you have your 4 at the bottom, then you only have 1 tipping up on one side, or you can have 2 or 3 or any of the various combinations. So typical square turning a lot of air. Instead of having 4 corners whipping at your hand, eventually you get into it to where you've got 8 corners that will be whipping at your hand or trying to get a hold of you if you're make a miscue and get your hand on the other side of the tool rest. So this is what we're going to try and do. All right, so with that, I milled up a nice piece of pecan. So I'm starting with a 5x5 block by 3 inches. How you like that grain?
that is
Gorgeous.
gorgeous.
That's pretty, ain't it?
Beatles got a hold of it, huh?
Yeah, it sure did. Actually, it's a piece of flame box elder. I was just teasing you. It's not pecan.
It's gorgeous, whatever it is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot brighter last night when I took it off the bandsaw. You know how UV light gets after that red when it hasn't been finished. So anyhow, so got it all straightened up and square. Anytime you do a square turning, it's always best to go ahead and put your finished final prep on your square surfaces, because it's so much easier to sand or scrape or plane. Me personally, I throw it on the plane, hand plane, and then if I got any problematic grain, I'll take a card scraper to it. So everything is real nice and smooth and glassy and doesn't require sandpaper. I find my centers. I do the 4-corner method, make my little box in the center. That gets my dead center. I'm gonna do the same on both sides. I'm gonna turn between centers. Got my stud center, got my live center. Mount her up. Can you guys hear me all right?
Gotcha, bud.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Yep.
Folks,
Sounds good.
This is where you learn screen grab. If you see them doing a move that you want to remember, do a screen grab on your computer. It stays with you.
What do you mean screen grab? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
On my Mac, I'm
everything.
pressing. On my Mac,
Where you-
I'm pressing Shift Command 3, and I get a picture of what is on my screen, and I get to save it on Shift Command 4. I can zoom in and see just that part of it. I save it, and if I need to look at it tomorrow, whatever, it's going to be in my photo file, and I go.
Thank
to
you,
grab
sir.
it. On Windows, somebody tell us how you do it on Windows.
Hit the print screen button.
Okay,
No, you can do the same thing. You can, it's the Windows button, Shift S.
Right, but if you just hit the print screen button, you only got to hit one. And
Yeah, but it prints the whole screen, not just whatever
Well-
block you want to look at.
well, true, yeah, you should format, the method that the print screen
You
uses.
can
But
crop it down with the other one.
And then on an Android, you just press your power button and the low volume key at the same time.
You did it on your iPhone also.
Yeah.
I do it all the time by accident. I got pictures of all kinds of desktops.
Same here.
Okay, but that, what I'm talking about screen grab, it really is if you see something Dane is doing and it's, and you say, oh, I wish I could remember that, do it, screen grab it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be interesting.
Well, I
Okay,
did it a
so-
minute ago.
So for the tools we're going to use tonight, I'm going to use 1/2-inch bowl gouge. I sharpen my bowl gouges that are greater than 3/8 inch with the 50-degree Raptor setup rig. So I have a 50-degree bevel on the nose and my wings are ground at approximately 25 degrees. And I will be using my spindle gouge to cut the bead or cut the V groove in the wings. And so for it, I use a 40-degree bevel from the Raptor setup gouge. Also, I've added a strip of tape, colored it red. So maybe you guys can see
Oh, yeah.
how
That's
the
great.
flute is going to be open or closed.
Very good move. That's an instructor.
Well, I'm learning from Cade, so I'm trying to do better. I'm going to try and talk a little more during the demonstration compared to just plowing through it like I normally do. Face shield. So the first thing I'll do whenever I do square turnings like this, even though I know I'm fairly square and flat and everything like that, I'll still flatten, make sure everything is, make sure all 4 corners are on the same plane. So I'll flatten one side, then I'll back it out, I'll flip it around, and I'll do the same to the opposite side on this orientation. And again, I just want to do that so these legs or the spurts, if it's on the top surface, are all at the same level, same height. So let's get started. Now I may have to reposition the camera. I'm not sure if the camera is going to be in my way or not here. I'm going to try and work around it. So bear with me if I have to reposition. So that side's done. Didn't take much. And I am going to have to move you. Try putting it behind.
What are you looking for?
Is that view okay?
Mine's September 22nd.
Fine.
So other,
Yes, view's
your
fine.
mom is June 6th. That's the most important.
Okay, that was something
That's
about,
the only point. That one and June the 6th is
Dane, I'm gonna come back and ask you to unmute.
Got it.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, when I flattened this side, I did a pull cut. And for demonstration purposes, for this side, I'm going to do a push cut. So essentially, I'm going to come in real light, find the cut, find the wood, get the bevel, and then just push across nice and light. And then something that when you don't know how a tool is going to cut, or if it's a new tool for you, or you just ground a new angle on something and you're wanting to see how it's going to cut, you can literally just put your tool against the wood and rotate it by hand, and it'll give you that cut. It doesn't take much. So if you're able to get a little curlicue like that based on your tool presentation by spinning it by hand, you should be able to get the same when you got your machine powered on, doing that same tool presentation. Does that make sense?
To me, it
Yes, it
does.
does.
Yep. Got you.
It's a good, easy way to figure things that you get you get the slice cut.
All right, that's got that. Okay, so trying to decide which I want to use for the bottom or the top. I think we'll see how deep those bug holes go and use that for the top. Might look interesting.
Yeah.
So again, on these square turnings, so the way I approach it and the way I go into it is on doing my bottom, I'll first identify the max diameter that's gonna hit each center line of the square piece here. And what I'll do is I'll just chase the image that's being provided here by the Ghost. And this just gives you an outline of where to make your cut. Gives you a template to follow along as you're working a project like this, or at least for me, that's what I use it for. So I'm just going to come in with my pencil and follow it, and it should be right there on the edge. And it is. And so I know on the left-hand side of this line, that's where my wings are at for my legs. And then on the inside is where I'm going to be excavating out. But at the same time, I got to remember to save enough room for my tenon. I will wind up remounting this in a chuck. And so with that, we'll go ahead and identify where the tenon is going to go. Seen me do this before. I take a number 2 pencil. It's 1/4 inch in diameter. Your live center is 1 11/16 approximately. And so you go like that. And now you've got your perfect 2 inch, 2 1/16 inch tenon outline for your chuck. Now, when you're excavating in here, carving out the inside here, you got to be careful not to go up too high because you got to have enough room to be able to part the ways to get your leg wings and your top wings. So you have to be mindful of how deep you're going in. So start and stop. Check your progress. Ooh. It's looking pretty.
It's going to be real pretty.
And then so what I'm looking for, I'm as this is spinning around, as that arc is developing, what I'm looking for is that what one half of the bow tie. The two of them together looks like a bow tie, but especially when it's spinning, it looks like a bow tie, or at least that's what I see in my little eyes. And so again, you do need to start and stop because you don't want to get too high because you've got to have that clearance to get inside to make the complementing arc of the legs and the top wings. So at the moment, I think I'm good. It's not a big deal. You got to come back to it. We're between centers. Pull it off, take it out, flip it around, and you're back in business. Another reason why I like turning between centers or starting majority of my projects between centers is because you can do that. You can adjust for hidden grain that becomes exposed and you want to have it in part of the project. All you got to do is loosen it up, rotate it around, and change that grain orientation for what's going to be seen once you start turning the finished project.
We haven't heard from Sue tonight. I just found out she's in Okeechobee. She'll see us again next week.
Oh, okay. All right, so same thing. So we got the bottom developed. In fact, let me flip that back around and go ahead and cut in my tenon. And I'm just going to use my 1/2-inch skew to do that. Again, we outlined it earlier with the pencil trick to give us our perfect diameter.
It doesn't look, boy, that looks sort of like a skew being used on the side.
And that's what my 1/2 inch skew looks like. Similar grind is what Dean and Cade and a few others use. I like the curve on the bottom on the toe because it allows you to be able to see around it, especially when you're cutting beads. All right, so let's do the top.
Dean, while you're setting up, I'm gonna mention that John Combs is doing some pins for the Coast Guard. He fell on the ice, busted a couple of ribs. Turners, he needs some help. He'll send you the kits, it'll send you the clips and the wood and everything else. If you're interested to help out John, all you have to do is go to our chat and John's in there and tell him, you know, you'll help him out to help the Coast Guard.
So I did the same thing. Follow the ghost image to identify where the wingtips are going to be at, and then where you're cutting solid wood. Also at the same time, I always like to identify, to try and mate up and match that curve from the top of the bowl going down through the bottom of the bowl. And so I know I've left off on the bowl base down here about roughly 1/2 inch. And so I'm just going to come in here and identify that. And so what this does, it allows me to determine where I'm going to start the excavation for hollowing out for the internal cavity of the bowl. And also it gives me the line of where I want to cut for if you decide to have a lidded vessel, which 9 times out of 10 I'll be doing the same for this, taking my parting tool and cutting a recess so your lid can sit into. But I always try to do this before I start cutting. Easier to work with the flat surface first, have all the material there before removing it and then trying to estimate what it's supposed to be.
Look at those shavings. Look at those shavings coming off, folks.
So we're getting close to the bow tie shape that I'm looking for. Looks good.
Members, if you're just joining us, Dave Chandler in Tucson is doing a demonstration on a bow tie box or bow tie bowl. This is kind of multi-use.
Yeah,
And he's
right.
showing us how to cut it.
Free.
You know, a little while ago, I said Joe and Coombs needs some help. This is a club full of members that want to help and be part of it. 5 turners have jumped up and said, I want to be part of this. 5 people want to help John Coombs make those pins.
Dan, how big are you marking out in the center section?
So I'm just putting in I should have done this earlier. This would have gave me a better gauge of that outside profile I'm looking for the bow tie appearance. But essentially what I'm doing, the primary reason for stopping and marking here is to get my center line,
Yeah.
because this is what I'm going to use to cut in my V groove and start working the wings. So this is the catchy part. Can be. Give me a minute.
Let's be safe. Brenda, put your mask on.
Right, there you go. Yeah, the whole goal is to avoid sanding. So sharp tools, proper technique, light cuts, turn fast. And when I say turn fast as you're comfortable with. I turn fast, but I take light cuts most of the time.
I like the way you put that. Turn as comfortable as you are.
So you're going to have a lot of air in this orientation here. So at the close point between the wing corner and the tool rest is 1/2 inch. But here in the center, you're 1.5 inches. So again, this is where speed comes into play, but this is where you've got to be extremely careful with your tool presentation. You're not going directly into the wood, open fluted. Your flute's going to be closed pretty much.
And
then
folks, it's colored in the flute so you can see the movement.
And then it's essential that you're catching your bevel. I think Mark Soleil coins it best. Cutting east to west. And this is ever present in doing this type of a cut, because you're going in, you're essentially creating a V groove, but you're going in, you're engaging the cut, and then you're rotating and pushing in. I'll start with my tool handle down as I'm entering the cut. And then as I'm finishing the cut, the tool handle is coming up to complete that cutting motion. Does that make sense?
It does. Show me.
Okay, are you starting in the center and then working out?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. And this can also be done with a skew,
I was
but it's
wondering.
not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, Cade in Canada's probably saying, oh, I know. Wait, I'll do that from a skew.
Okay. Make sure everything's nice, bright and tight. And so a lot of times, depending, well, the majority of the time, whenever I'm turning this type style of a piece, I'll primarily do all my cutting on one side, and then I'll flip it around so I can cut the other side, because I'm just more comfortable. One, because I'm able to take shelter behind the headstock and be out of the line of fire, as opposed to being over here on this side. And I'm not ambidextrous for cutting something like this, so I don't like switching hands.
Take shelter. I love it.
Yeah. It's lot of
That's a
cast
good
iron.
idea, because those corners could do some damage.
Absolutely.
idea.
Absolutely.
Great camera, boy. We really get a good shot here.
And so for this, I think I can pull the camera around. 'Cause I won't be fighting with my bowl gouge from my swing. So let me.
Yeah, that flex arm's pretty handy, eh, Dane?
Yeah, I should. Actually, I should put that up, huh? Shouldn't I? Let me do that. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, no problem. Looking good. So
I need to go get some Dramamine. Wow.
Oh, sorry. See, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see my cut though. Can
Once
you
you
see?
start
all right?
cutting, we will.
Okay. Is the image still coming through okay?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. As soon as you start cutting air, we'll be able to see it.
Yeah, get that wood
Yep.
out of the way.
Yeah, right.
it looks good. We can see through the ghost wood, so we can see your tool rest and the tool.
For that. Boy, you can't get a better shot than we have right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing I didn't do was raise my tool rest. So I have stop collars on all my tool rests and they're all set for my bowl gouges. For spindle turning, I like, well, for use with my spindle gouge, I like to be a little bit above center. All right. And so we're going to turn about 1,000. The tool handle down, tip is up.
I don't think I've ever seen a better demonstration of how to do that. Looking at the ghost and the center. Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Yes, that's a perfect angle.
great. So yeah, it's very key doing this, that you're watching that ghost image for your cut, because you can't see anything, or you don't see the proper information looking at the tool point cutting into the wood down here at the bottom. You can see everything developing from the ghost image.
Dane, is it possible to move the dust collector? It's interfering with the ghost image.
Move the what?
The dust collector, it's interfering with the ghost image on the back side. If it's possible, that'd be so much better, a lot better view.
Yep, that was just my light, but yeah.
Dane, just
problem.
because I've never seen this done before, are you trying to join this all the way across? Is that
Yes,
how deep you're going in?
yes, it'll be joined all the way across.
Cool, thank you. I'm sorry asking so many questions.
No, that's all right. That's the purpose of the demos. So as you're cutting these style, you have to resist the temptation of excess stock removal. It seems natural to want to start shaving away and start forming that leg, but you've got to work from the center mass out, because otherwise, if you get too thin, then your legs or the top wings will inevitably fly off, either through speed, osmosis, or just grabbing hold of the tool the wrong way. We're getting there. We've got less than 2 inches. Before it's joined together.
How thick was that piece started with?
And so this is where you need to be careful when you're carving out the top and the bottom, because if you get too deep and then you start making your big V groove to define the legs and top, you wind up making a projectile captive ring that you weren't expecting to make. So I need to take this corner off so I can have some more room to get the tool in. Same thing with this side. like we have an interstate going around there. All right, so we're connected. So now we'll start shaping the legs. It's hard to shear scrape going around a corner like that and taking cover. All right, I like the way it looks. So, like I said, I'll flip it around because it's easier to duck on this side. If y'all don't mind, let me put a fresh edge on this real quick.
They say that sharp is better while Dane's away on a grinder. We will be doing gallery following this demonstration. If you like to get in gallery and show the piece you've got, all you need to go is chat and tell the chat, I've got something to show. Brenda Thornton is handling our chat input tonight. Brenda will put you on a list and introduce you. When Brenda introduces you, start talking. We have 97 members aboard tonight, and we have to find you, so you got to start talking. Also, if you've ever seen a better demonstration than this that was absolutely free, let me know where you got it. We want to go there.
Right. All right, so I'm back. Fresh edge put on. Won't take too many cuts to clean this up. So, first cut, come in to take the hump all the way to the center. And then one more cut from the edge all the way in, and you shear straight back, and you should be good.
Man, oh man.
All right, so that's it for the cutting the wings.
Hey, Dane,
Yes,
is the goal to keep the wings touching in the middle?
do what?
Is the goal to keep the wings touching in the middle?
Define touching.
Well, I mean, they come together. The lines
Yeah.
come together. Okay,
Um,
so.
Yeah,
they
the
seem
goal is
kind-
this. The goal
they
is
seem-
this.
Okay, they seem kind of thick. Did you meet your lines? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Okay,
Can you see?
I see your lines, but they're like halfway. Were you trying to turn to those or were those?
No, that was just a gauge on my for the depth. 'Cause I know
see.
if I hit those lines, I'm gonna be in trouble as I'm
Gotcha.
cutting my internal groove.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you bet.
Hey,
That
Dane,
is Rule 747A. Remember? The inside dimension can never exceed the outside dimension.
That's right.
hey, Dane, what was the original size of your block?
5 by 3.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I was wrong. Somebody
Yeah,
had
you had us mixed up.
asked that. Several of them,
Huh?
5 by 5. I answered 4 by 4.
Y'all were close.
Yeah. I'm wrong a lot. I admit that.
Just a different set of information.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with being wrong.
No, there isn't.
That's the only way you learn how to be right.
There you go.
Yeah, the person that's never made a mistake has never tried anything.
You're right.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
remember that weathermen are wrong almost daily and they still keep their jobs.
that's right. That's the only profession where you can be wrong and get paid.
I had a weatherman quit talking to me one time when I
That
was
didn't
doing
work in my
radio.
profession.
Yeah, because I said the weatherman, only thing they do is a wild ass guess. We have 7 or 8 folks have signed up for for gallery tonight, folks. Brenda's keeping track of that. Put her to work. You wanna
Got 6 of them so far now.
All
6
right.
of them for gallery? Watch out, Dane, she's trying to get your job.
Oh, she's a good cohort.
Talking about weathermen, remember, doctors are always practicing.
Well, yeah,
Ooh.
you know, and same with accountants, you know, we have accounting practice as well. However, there can be some serious confines to being wrong in that profession.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much forgiveness there in that area.
Well, no, you know, it's funny. People, when it comes to people's money,
Yeah.
they take issue with that.
They take it personal.
Yeah, they do for some reason.
Notice the
I
stop
tried to
collar we had.
explain that concept of it being an accounting practice that I had. And, you know, sometimes some people didn't care for that. And I'm like, well, you know, risk. Remember this document you signed? All right. So we're done with the bottom. We're done forming our wings. And so
wanna-
now we're just going to carve out the center.
Dane, do you want to change the camera angle again?
Oh, sorry.
That'll make it easier to see.
Oh, on attention.
music version.
And how's that angle?
Your head, you don't like
Looks
that.
pretty good to me. Okay,
All right, so bowl gouge.
Got a lovely drain in. Oh, what are they doing?
We'll start carving this out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my recess here. Get ready to, should say.
members, if you're just joining us, you'll understand why that groove is there in just a few moments. This is what's called the bow tie box thing turning course. The entire video will be on our website in about 4 or 5 days.
Cutting funny. Feels like a void coming up. Getting into the little tunnels from the creatures. Well, you guys should have said something. Can't see the inside. That's okay. We're done.
The bug holes really do a lot for that piece.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
You've turned it nice because the bottom doesn't have a divot or a flat spot. Not
No.
that bottom of the bowl.
Nope, it's all the way nice.
Yes.
Very
Looks
nice.
good, Dane.
Thank you.
Dane, I have a question for you. Can
Yeah.
you do the legs at 90-degree angles to each other?
Not following.
Okay, instead of having them lined up like you do, maybe take the top legs and make it rotate them 90 degrees.
No, you can't do that.
Well, it's one solid block.
Okay,
Yeah. If you had individual blocks and then you put them together, you could.
okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But you'd have, glue it up or
okay. I just
literally
was thinking
turn
it-
two individual pieces and put it
I
together.
was just wondering if there's a way to be able to do it on the
You
lathe.
started, if you started with a cube, you could make them, you could do that. You started with the cube, I mean, you'd have three
Right, but that's
prongs. That's a different.
sure
ball.
different
Yeah.
turning.
Yep.
Different turning.
Yeah, then you only have 3 legs.
Yeah.
Well, if
Okay,
you mounted
thanks.
from corner to corner on a cube, yeah, you'd have 3 legs.
Right.
But
Great
Thanks,
job.
Dane. Very nice.
Korean style, Chosin.
very nice.
Nice job.
Very nice.